Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell. Dspgaming. Sorry about that. I accept game donations and decreasing the sub goal. Ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, Phil is in some going through some hard times, right? Hard times, define sniff. And for that, if he's going to keep things going, he needs the fan base to step up. He needs them to contribute and be supportive. Not only financially, so he can cover his bills, keep the business going, save his house, this, that, and the third, pay his taxes, you know, all that good stuff. Also, the upcoming medical bills that we don't know too much about yet. But also, games. He needs the games to draw people in so they can support and contribute so he can keep his house and keep his way of life. It is what it is. Games are vital. Even though people have been donating games or money for games for him since 2009. Semantics, of course. And decreasing the sub goal. That just comes from a lack of faith in the sub goal. So it only makes sense that would happen. Yeah, we'll go ahead and see what it drops down to. We'll laugh at it. We'll have a good chuckle, laugh at it heartily, and then you guys will hopefully be able to start your day off right. Because what else are you gonna do? To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Networking Productions. Oh boy, you guys all know the slogan. I am the uncrowned king of bacon. You know this. You know this. And I don't smell no bacon cooking. Which means it's time to watch me work. I could really use a white chocolate and raspberry cappuccino too, by the way. That would be excellent. Actually, I could probably go ahead and whip up one real fast. Here we go.
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here yet again with one of our favorites. Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. I accept game donations and decreasing the sub goal. Here we go.
Now, I fully understand that today is going to be a day that's very divisive. What I mean by that is, not divisive, divisive. Some people will absolutely love what I'm doing today, and some people will absolutely hate it. Because I'm playing two Japanese games, and a lot of people don't like that style of game. They like more action-based. I want action-based game. I want, you know, tons of, you know, jittery content and risk of dying every 5 seconds, and, you know...
Jittery content? Oh, okay.
Definitely not what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Now the good news is, for the rest of the month, there's actually a lot of interesting stuff coming up, including the first DLC for Mortal Kombat 11 in Shang Tsung. We've got Crash Team Racing, we've got the game Judgment, the game The Sunken City, and Super Mario Maker 2.
Now, I'd love to cover all those games, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford all of those games, being very honest with all of you. So we'll see, I guess, how the month goes, but those are definitely the games I'm interested in covering if I can afford all of them. Alright, if anyone is interested in donating games for me to play, oh my god!
Okay, so first things first. So that's a lot of games to basically ask people to step up to give him money or to just donate the game to him in its entirety. That's a lot of games. You know, we're talking. Let's see, they're all 60, maybe between 50 and 60 bucks a piece. We're talking about, you know, well over $200 plus, if not a little bit more. So they're expected to step up and do that shit. That's cool because then he doesn't have to pay for the game, and then he's going to profit on stream and on YouTube, and he's definitely going to make bank off that. He'll definitely make whatever the games were worth off Twitch alone, and then he'll eventually make all that on YouTube. So good deal for that, I guess. And the funny thing is, right, is he didn't say, hey guys, I'm not going to be able to afford all these games, so if anybody would like to help me along, and maybe we could not necessarily go half and half, but if people would like to help, help a little bit so I can take what I have and then I'll take what's donated to buy these games, that'd be great. He was like, no, you guys are just going to out and out have to give me all those games. And I'm not going to be happy unless I get all of those games. I'm not sure if you guys missed that or not, but he wants all of those games. He doesn't want just a few. He wouldn't be happy with just one. He wants all of them. Imagine that. DSP News. The greed is massively strong, and he has no self-control.
Man, por favor, es muy importante. Please, by all means, contact me at darksidefil@hotmail.com. I accept, game donations, so to make things easier, and that way I can definitely put these things on my schedule rather than saying, well, I don't know if I can play them or not. Okay? Shout out!
Actually, another thing, too, before he gets into shout-outs. I think the reason why we're going the game donation route, instead of saying, oh, you guys can tip me and I'll use the tips to buy games, is because you remember how Phil used to, and it still happens every once in a while, hey, Phil, here's $100. You know what I mean? Take this money to buy the game. Oh, well, thanks a lot, man. But since you tipped me, I'm going to have to use this towards bills. Sorry. They're tips, and it's up to my discretion on what I want to do with them. So if you really want me to buy this game, you're gonna have to donate it. Just in case you guys don't know, or you guys don't remember if you guys don't remember a recent example, or a very recent example, it was, what was that? Plague's Tale: Innocence. That was a perfect example. He ended up getting $700+ in total before he finally ended up getting the game, and you don't. I'm not going to give him credit for shit, but he was basically saying the whole time, if you guys want me to play the game, you guys should need to donate the game, not money for it. Donate the game. And he really walked off with the majority of these guys' monies. He took these piggies' monies straight to the motherfucking bank, and basically held them hostage for like a week, maybe longer. Jesus, that's hurtful. That's so hurtful.
First, we've got Piggy Smalls, who says, celebrate out 100, look, another one fall out.
What? Does anyone understand this?
We just had a troll in the chat. Celebrate Gout 100. So, har, Phil had gout earlier this year, and he talked about it publicly because he talks about this stuff publicly. He shares it, right? He's not ashamed. He's not one of these people who hides the personal shit about his life. He talks about it. And so I brought this up, and everyone knows that I had gout earlier this year, and I don't have it anymore. I haven't had it since, I'm trying to think, the last flare-up was sometime during the summer, because I changed my lifestyle. I don't drink.
You still have gout. It just means you don't have a flare-up. That's all it is. Speaking of which, it's been called into question, and probably rightfully so, to be honest, if Phil actually has gout, or if he's over-exaggerating, and he actually has something else. He has another condition. I saw someone had brought it up on Kiwi Farms, and it actually was two individuals talking, and they both made a very good point. Since Phil exaggerates almost everything, and tends to lie about almost everything, it's very possible that Phil doesn't actually have gout, because it came from a self-diagnosis. Hence the reason why he doesn't, or at least as far as we know, he doesn't take any medication for it. He avoids certain meats or certain food that could flare it up, and he drinks cherry juice to regulate his levels. That's pretty much it. He doesn't, now keep in mind, there's no cure for gout, if I remember correctly. So maybe there isn't actually a treatment. I assume there's some type of medication for it. But we don't think he's taking it. So it's very possible that Phil had misdiagnosed himself. It's very possible. It's funny to think that he has gout, but he might not actually have something as severe as gout. Who could say? On top of that, another thing that was, I think that was brought up later on down the line, was the fact with the whole herniated disc. And I think a couple of you in the chat have actually, or in the comment section, have brought this up. It's amazing how a man can have a herniated disc and he can rock back and forth the way he does. The pain would be excruciating if he really had a herniated disc. Now, granted, ladies and gentlemen, most of you guys are not giving Phil enough credit. The S.E.C.R.E.T activated his latent mutant abilities, and he was able to develop additional racks of ribs around his spine to strengthen it, if you will. Sorry. So you guys are not giving him enough credit. You know what I'm saying? The S.E.C.R.E.T does amazing things. It could be the weed too. I mean, I don't know what Kat's into, if she's actually into the toke or not. But if she is, then that could be a thing too. I don't think Phil is though. Phil has weak lungs. Thanks, Mom.
As much, I'm not eating as much red meat. I'm a lot more healthy now, and because of that, I haven't had any issues with it. But they think it's like funny to bring that shit up. Look, another one, fall gout. How is this funny? Like, what is funny about it?
It is pretty funny. But anyway, shouts out to the two guys on the 2 or 3 guys, maybe. I think it was 2 guys originally on Kiwi Farms who were talking about that. Though it was a really good read, to be perfectly honest. And as for Phil, oh yeah, Phil's mom is apparently a frequent smoker, and he blames her for his weak lungs. So that's where the mom joke comes from, or meme. Thanks, Mom.
That? It's over. Like, it's so outdated. Find something else. Maybe the most outdated, stupid references. Like, you can tell. That's how you could tell how stupid and immature and just dumb these people are. It's not even funny. It's not annoying. It doesn't annoy me. It's not funny. It's not annoying. All you do is make yourself look stupid. Do I need to instruct people on how to troll? You're terrible at it. My God, you're bad. It's just so bad. It's not. It's just like pathetic. It's like a little 5-year-old, you know? It's like a 33-year-old and a 5-year-old's trying to make fun of him.
Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we have a we have a pig here with gout. Pig explaining why he has gout, and then turning that around and saying that you guys don't understand how to meme. And does he need him to explain it to us how to do it? This is like early Sargon type shit. This is so bad. God damn it, Phil. At least when Sargon did it, it was funny. This is just sad. It's very, very sad.
And you look at him like, are you fucking for real? Like, you just made a joke about like a banana or something. It's so dumb. Gout. I haven't even mentioned it. In how long? Because I don't have it. Oh my God.
Celebrate out 100. Look, another one Fallout. I have no idea. Alright, anyway. First cheer of the day. Piggy Smalls cheered again and said, some of my favorite videos of yours are fan appreciation multiplayer sessions. I noticed you haven't done one in a very long time. Why'd you stop? If it was trolling, their whole purpose of doing it was to make you stop. Multiple reasons. Number one, because there's just not very good many multiplayer games out there. Being honest, there's just not. Most of the time when I try it, it ends up not being very fun. Like, I'll give you an example. Smash Brothers. I did do, with Smash Brothers Ultimate, a session where viewers could join me. It wasn't called fan appreciation. It was just called, you know, like an open lobby. And the connections were god-awful, and it ended up being probably one of the worst sessions I've ever done, because it was just unplayable. It was like lag and slow-mo, and just not very fun. Recently I did Mortal Kombat 11. And I guess you could say that was hit or miss. Some of it was decent, and some of it was quite laggy. It wasn't a bad session. If anything, I learned a lot about the game with Aaron Black, because he's such a fucking cheap-ass character, which I hadn't known until then. But it's not that I don't do them at all. It's just that I really don't have a lot of multiplayer games that I play these days, when you really think about it. Like, Black Ops 4, the multiplayer stinks. I hate it. So I'm not going to do a lot of...
Let me cut in. And I'm cutting in a little earlier than normal, but one of the reasons why he won't play... I don't even know why he even plays online games. I really don't. Because he's scared of people. He really is. He's scared of people. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I know, being that he's someone who projects himself online every day almost. But he really is scared of people. Even in the most in the most minuscule ways of just communication online in a multiplayer game. He's scared of that. He has to sit here and go through background checks just to have people play on his team, and even then he'll keep them on ice until the very, 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 very last minute before he brings them in. And he won't even try to rotate the lineup at all. So if one of those guys doesn't come through, he's more likely just not going to do the multiplayer event. And he's boring, to be honest with you, in a multiplayer setting. He expects them to carry the day. It's kind of like back in the day with John, except for he was way more engaging with John because he trusted John. Well, and he liked John too, but he trusted John, despite the fact that he kind of used John too and definitely took advantage of John. Anyway, so he can never get anything done with another person because he doesn't have enough trust or faith in them. Certainly just not enough trust. And it's funny how someone who's supposed to be so honest and so real can't see the real in other people. It's almost as if they're so real that they're too real to touch. So in turn, he assumes the worst of everybody because, to be honest, and Phil will never admit this, but I know it's true, he sees the worst of the world as he sees the worst in himself. It's the only way he can function. It's the only thing to explain why he thinks everybody treats other people poorly like he does. It's the only way to explain why, well, it's not the only way, but it's one of the best ways, I think, to explain why he thinks everybody's a shill and everybody does it for money and no one really likes everything. And he assumes that everybody's as negative as he is about his outlook on life unless you have money. There are plenty of people that I know who have money who are miserable. Not because of money, they're just miserable because of shit. Money doesn't help, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the money in the world and still be a miserable piece of shit. It just means you can be miserable in nicer places. That's all it really means. It doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't change how you feel about the world or how you see it. It just means you can squash a lot of that away through money. But that doesn't make you happy, to be honest. And that's what you find from people like Phil, maybe Bad Bunny, I guess, if she's money hungry like that. I think Cinnabear on Twitch is like that. She said that depression doesn't exist, and if you have a lot of money, how can you be depressed? It's kind of like that dumbass type of logic that money cures everything, and it doesn't. There are people who are multimillionaires who have committed suicide, who commit suicide every day. So obviously money didn't help that well. You know, it didn't really bring that much happiness, did it? Look up the, if you want another really good example, is the lottery curse. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it in a couple different keywords, but you'll find it if it comes up. Look at what money did to all those people. If you're not a happy individual or even a grounded individual in some way, shape, or form, money will only fuck you up even more. It doesn't help. It only hurts even more. But that's just my opinion, of course. DSP News.
A game I hate, you know what I mean? Like, I played it a few times online for sessions or whatever, but I really hate the multiplayer of that fucking game. I think it sucks ass. So I'm not gonna do a fan lobby of a game that I fucking detest.
I love gaming.
You know what I mean? So I think this is actually a misconception. And the thing is, I don't call it fan appreciation anymore. But I do absolutely do fan lobbies. You know, I just did Mortal Kombat and Smash Brothers. When there is a game with multiplayer that I enjoy, I usually will do some kind of a fan lobby session. But I know, see, here's the difference. Back in the day, we're talking the days of Street Fighter 4 and also constantly other...
Wasn't he complaining, though, during the Mortal Kombat lobbies that it didn't have another built-in feature for him to be able to kick people out of lobbies or have some type of regulation or some type of additional control for that lobby and whatnot? Wasn't he bitching and complaining about that? And then in Smash Brothers, since he was getting bodied early, wasn't he mad because he felt that certain detractors and trolls were getting in at him? Even though, if I remember correctly, actually I know I remember this happened because I was actually talking to them, to at least two of them when this was happening. LSB, Dante Crisis, it was either Cyberwolf or it was Loco Slam ended up getting into some of his Smash lobbies and tore his ass up. Tore his ass up and whatnot. So, and I don't know if the wrong guy was in there or not, but I think I had laughed about it with him about it too, because it was pretty funny. I mean, yet again, he just doesn't have any faith or trust in anybody, and he's scared. He's scared to interact with other people. That's why you've always seen the same group of people, if you will, and it's been getting smaller and smaller, who participate with him on stuff. I mean, if you don't, another classic moment, if you will, was back in, was it Black Ops 3? Black Ops 3 Zombies, when he was with a couple of people and they were supposed to they were trying to figure out one of the Easter eggs. And one of the guys ends up finding a glitch spot, which that's always fun. And it is, actually. It is really kind of fun if you can find one, because you can find one just about everywhere. Anyway, he gets into a glitch spot, and he literally is hoarding zombies there. Now, granted, most people shitted on this guy because he was doing that. In truth, if they were playing off of that advantage, they would have had more time to complete the Easter egg, or at least figure out the steps, while he's hoarding all the zombies his way. That's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? You always have one person in zombies, especially if you guys are good, who plays bait while the other ones start to figure out what the steps are and eventually go through them. Now, they made a very valid point that for that particular Easter egg, they would need all 4 of them to do it. But none of them really even had all the steps at that point. They may have had a few of them, but I don't think they had all of them. So, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Was it a dick move for him to just chill in that spot? Yeah. Then again, they could have taken advantage of that opportunity, gotten better power-ups, hit the weapon box a couple times. There was stuff they could have done instead of just bitch at that guy. But that's just my own personal opinion, of course. DSP News.
Fighting games, like there was a bunch of Tekken and stuff like that. And then every year you had Call of Duty, and you had Battlefield, and you had Assassin's Creed. Remember when Assassin's Creed had multiplayer, right? So you're talking, there were years when, you know, there was 7, 8 games that had significant multiplayer, and I was able to do, like, special sessions called Fan Appreciation, where I would just sit here for, you know, a week. I remember at one point, at the end of the year, there was not much going on in new releases, so for a week, I played with the viewers, and just did multiplayer with viewers. I remember that. And, you know, that was fun. But sadly, that was, you know, that was in the past. So, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I can't really say much more. Like, you know, eventually, will I do more multiplayer with fans? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, it has, in reality, did I cut back on multiplayer sessions because of trolls? I mean, was it a factor? Yes, it was. It was a factor because at one point, I remember the end of, man, this was years ago. When I remember Metal Gear Solid 5, so that was what, 2015, 2016? I can't remember the year. I think it was 2015. The end of that year, I did a traditional, like, fan appreciation year-end session. And I remember Metal Gear Solid 5 and, like, 2 other games. It was just 100% trolling. It was just assholes joining, not playing. Instead, they were running in circles and fucking around and saying disgusting shit on mic. And basically, for the real fans who were there to play, they were just angered. They were like, this is a waste of everyone's time because these assholes just want to ruin it. So it kind of sucks because when you're in a team-based game like that, it basically does ruin it if you get the fucking trolling, for sure. We know what's going to win. The troll answer wins. The troll answer always wins. Oh, yeah. But that's not necessarily why I stopped doing them. It's mostly because, in reality, you know, there was a time when there were so many fun multiplayer games coming out at once, and now there's just not that many. Most of the games that come out, like I said, Black Ops 4, that would have been a prime candidate, but I hate the fucking game. You know, they have to actually make good multiplayer games for me to want to play that game with fans. You see what I mean? And they haven't done that in a long time. And then when you get one like Smash Brothers Ultimate, the connections are shit. So, and by the way, Piggy Smalls cheer is a Detractor meme, and his name is a Detractor meme. Great. Well, you know, I don't know that. Maybe that maybe, like I said, that probably makes sense of some of the nonsensical shit that these people are saying in their cheers. They're just saying stupid shit that doesn't make any sense to anyone except those who have so few brain cells in their fucking head that they actually think that that stuff's funny. Like, my God, you've got to be a fucking complete mouth-drooling idiot.
Unleash the beast.
Wow. So he says that it was a factor, all the trolling, but then he says that a couple sentences later that it wasn't that big of a deal. There's not enough multiplayer games. There's not enough good multiplayer games out. Despite the fact that he played he plays Black Ops Blackout, and he would probably play multiplayer if he could find at least two more people. That's really on him. That's not the game's fault. He played Apex Legends with Kekken and Brian, and I think they had somebody else on there too. He's had multiplayer sessions with Brian, Kekken, and somebody else from Mortal Kombat. I mean, there are plenty of there are plenty. Sorry, God damn it. There are plenty of multiplayer games out there for him to play, and it's not a matter of him hating it or not. It's really the detractors or the trolls and haters, whatever. They really he lets them get at him so bad. At him so bad, I should say. Sorry, I can't talk right now. That he can't function. And even when having people like Kekken and Brian there to basically, they're nothing more than meat shields, let's be honest. They're just meat shields. Even with them there to take on most of the bullshit, it's still not enough for him. The fuck are you doing playing online games then? Like, why are you playing Mortal Kombat then if you're scared of playing with other people? Why are you playing games like Apex Legends and fucking Call of Duty if you're not going to get into the multiplayer? Yeah, he can sit there and camp in bathrooms for 10 plus minutes if he thinks that's fun, but multiplayer, yet again, is another experience in its own right. But he knows he can't succeed at multiplayer. That's the real situation. Like, for example, if he went to play free-for-all, he'd get murked fast, and he knows it. So he won't do that. He doesn't want to play like team deathmatch, domination, kill confirm, because one, you kind of need to communicate with your teammates on that, kind of, sort of, not really. Not for kill confirm and for team deathmatch, but definitely with domination. I guess you at least you should anyway. But he's not going to do that because if someone recognizes him, whether on his team or on the opposing team, he feels that they're going to troll the shit out of him. He feels this way. He's already projecting this before it even happens. He may actually run into some legitimate fans, but he won't believe them if he doesn't recognize their name, so he automatically assumes they're trolls. This is a terrible way to live in an era where we connect with each other more and more through gaming online. And this idiot right here wants all the new games, whether they're online or not, but doesn't want to fully take advantage of it. He merely just wants to play it for money for a couple weeks while it's hot, and then he wants to drop it. And then if he finds a game where he has even a minuscule of success, like Black Ops, Blackout, he'll play that as a chill stream. The fuck are you doing? Like, seriously, how does that make him a gamer? How does that make him a streamer? How does that make him an entertainer? When he's scared to interact with the very people he's supposed to be entertaining. Fan appreciation isn't a thing anymore because he can't profit off of it. To be honest, if I had to really guess, he hasn't figured out a way to monetize it yet. If he could convince people to pay him $50 to get into an online, to get into some online sessions with him on a Friday night or on a Saturday, he would. But then he won't know who's trolls and who isn't, so he's gonna get caught up in the vortex that Wings of Redemption gets into every once in a while. And he doesn't want that. Where Wings will put himself out there to have a good stream and at least just to get more people playing the game, whether it fails or not, DSP won't even take that much of a shot. He won't even reach out that far. That's how much of a coward he is. But yet he can tell everybody how to conduct themselves in online games. He can tell you how publishers and developers need to make games and how the online functionality needs to work so more people would play it, despite the fact that he wouldn't take advantage of it even if it did work properly. And even if he did, it would be in a very limited capacity, which means little to no real interaction with another normal person. DSP News?
All right, the Slow Motion Pimp Slap has subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Slow Motion Pimp Slap, for the sub. I appreciate that. We're up to 516 subs. That's great. We went up a few today. Thank you guys again. We're trying to hit 560 for the sub goal. And you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do 550 for this month.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
That makes more sense. I did 560 because we were, like, super close. And now we lost a few subs. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do 550. That makes more sense. It's a more rounded number. Let's make it a little bit more attainable. So I just updated it to be 550. Okay? The last Rambo did a 50-bit cheers. Why not do a stream?
I mean, to be honest with you, he did that because he had no faith they were going to reach the goal anyway. So and you got to understand, every little thing that he does as it pertains to a goal that is publicly set, if he doesn't hit it, he assumes that we're going to make fun of him, which he's right. And he doesn't want that. So he'll cut himself at the knees just so he has one little thing above us or above anybody who might bring it up. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one with all the bills. He's the one who's fighting every day to save his house. This, that, and the third, but he can afford to cut back the sub goal. Just putting that out there.
Goal, it gives an incentive. To my knowledge, now I could be wrong. To my knowledge, you cannot do that. You can't do like a bits drive or anything like that. That might be against Twitch's terms of service. I'm not 100% on that, but I could have sworn that I read somewhere that you can't do like a bit goal. I could be wrong, but I swear I read that in the terms of service at one point. But regardless, Last Rambo, for me, like I've told you guys, if you really want to help me, you gotta tip me right now. Tipping is the way to go. Because tips I get right away, and I can put those towards bills for the next week until I get paid by Twitch. I'm really screwed. I'm not exaggerating here.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
I know for a fact I've got 3 to 4 major bills coming up in the next week that I don't have money to pay. This fucking sucks. Alright? So, please consider tipping me. If at all you can help me in any way and you can control what method you contribute, please tip me today, okay? Again, below the stream there's a tips jar button. There's also a command ! Tip. Right now we've got none, so please consider it, alright? I really, you guys been helping me out this week, and I still need it for another friggin' week.
No, actually, in reality, I don't have to justify anything. I can just say, guys, please help if you can, and if some people are very nice and love what I do, they can help, and everyone else can fuck off. I can't wait for the money! It's a money pit. Hey, money is money. One thing I say, money is money. Yeah, my God, please, you gotta tip me because I have no money. Give me your money. Quick buck, quick buck, quick buck. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Fills a...
Oh, boy. Oh, man, that's just hurtful. That's hurtful. That's so very hurtful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there we go on that. The multi, like I said, you guys already heard my opinion as it pertains to multiplayer games and why he doesn't have fan appreciation. It's kind of just sad that that's what it's come down to, but it is what it is. The sub goal, he just didn't want to take the L on it publicly. So for him, it's easier to decrease it and to call that a win than be laughed at because any sub goal that he sets he doesn't hit, and that he's still butthurt over the sub goal back in April that they didn't hit. So, there you go on that. As for games, I mean, let's be honest, people have been donating money for games and or the games themselves since 2009. Oh my God. So, like I said, I've gone over videos on the other channel talking about that. So that's just an ongoing practice. The only difference is for him to ask for that many games that are all coming out in a very short amount of time, and he wants all of them. And then you know that someone's going to really like his playthroughs, so they're going to give him the money for the DLC too. So that opens up a whole nother can of worms in itself. It is what it is. Alright, thank you guys for very much for listening in. Because of how short this is, you guys know the rules. There will be another video that will come out later on. If this is the actual morning broadcast. There'll be another video that'll come out later on in the evening, because that's the rules when it comes to shorter broadcasts like this. If it's at night, I'll make sure Asian GTG doesn't put this at night. We'll make sure that this is a morning situation. And then, like I said, you guys will get another broadcast from me later. So that's kind of cool. So look out for that. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I'll see you guys later on the day. And take care of yourselves, and I hope your day goes well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, I'm your host / anchor, GTG, and I am signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you later on in the day. In the broadcast.